Hello everyone, this is Inayat Mir with deploying and administering Active Directory domain services. This is your module number 1 for a brand new MCSA subject 3 or class 3 or 2742 session, which is your identity management section of your MCSA Windows Server 2016. So you always can go and pause my screen and watch the scenario and steps, but I am explaining here what I am going to do. Basically, we will deploy Active Directory domain services and we will deploy a domain controllers by performing domain controller cloning, and then we will of course administer Active Directory domain services. So we are going through all steps live. These are virtual machines I am using on behalf of LMS, Learning Management System. So we have to actually obtain these labs for testing purposes or training purposes. So here we will see a list of servers on the right side. We also can obtain from the middle of this screen. Currently I am going to use a host machine which will have virtual machines installed on top of a host machine, but this also is a environment where you can see that it is not really a physical environment. So L1-host1 is not a really physical server, but on virtual we are pretending that we have one virtual server as you see right now. So think that whatever you see right now is a physical server, L1-host1, so which is hosting virtual machines through my Hyper-V manager. So we do have already virtual machines available here to work with. So currently just simply think is that at your home or at your office and at your test environment, you are on a virtual environment where you install a Hyper-V manager on your physical server, and you are running couple of virtual machines on a physical server. L1 DC1 is a domain controller. L1 SVR1 is a member server. So you will go through all of these steps which are required. Very first thing we will see here, how to install Active Directory domain services binaries. We will try to do everything from based on the lab requirements from L1 DC1 remotely. You will see a lot of new PowerShell commands or a lot of new concepts of the PowerShell you will see here in this. So first, my attempt is to follow up exactly whatever is given in your MCSA 2016 labs, and I will follow lab steps. Along the way, possibly I will do some customization, but first thing is that we will install Active Directory binaries. Binaries means ADDS, required binaries to promote a domain as a domain controller. So on host 1, on the top left side, you can see that host 1 means that you have a physical computer. On physical computer, you are running a virtual computer. So this is a L1-DC1 virtual computer. So you always can fast forward, you always can pause. If you see, I am not sometimes going to pause and just talk about things. So sometimes I skip a lot of things and pause my recording. But video continues on the background, so in this way it saves your time. So I have here given password, which is a capital $PA$W.RD, which I have already in my queue, so where I can paste directly. So currently I am on a DC or domain controller. Just very careful or be careful when you go between your virtual machines and between your when you switch between virtual and your host machine. Second one is L1-SVR1. I am going to start because you are going to perform remote actions from L1 DC1 for L1 SVR1. So of course, SVR1 has to be up and running in order to receive our communication. So we will communicate between L1 DC1 and L1 SVR1. So currently you see that we have both servers up and running. Now we are going to use a PowerShell. So PowerShell is a key component or key option which we are going to use a lot in Windows Server 2016. In the past, we were using a lot of other scripting methods, but I think PowerShell is dominating currently in current Windows Server 2012 and 2016 environment. So here we are not going to do any GUI for now. We have done a lot in the past. So we are going to use install-Windows feature, and the name of the feature with minus name which will be AD-domain-services, then minus computer name will be L1-SVR1. As you can see that you are on L1 DC1. I am constantly adding my email in case if anybody wants all PDF steps what you see on the bottom of this screen. I would be happy to send you via the email. So here I am going to run Active Directory command through the PowerShell. So that is how you run ADDS binaries or install. In real time, you may see it takes more time than it is taking now, because I will go 6%, 20%, then 90%, and this way you don't have to wait and see everything. So I'm gonna quickly finish up. So now I do have ADDS binaries installed on L1 DC1. This is not L1 DC1 right now what you are looking at, but I am on L1 I am on L1 DC1. I am installing on L1 SVR1. Okay, so we have done this on server 1. As you can see, minus computer name tells you that. Now you're gonna look at Get-Windows feature. So these basically gonna tell you that L1-SVR1 has what feature installed. If you hit enter at Get-Windows feature, that will show you L1-DC1 where you are on. So here you can scroll down. Whatever X you see on the left side, that X means this feature is installed. If you see blank from the left side, so that means this feature is not installed. So you simply gonna scroll up, scroll down, whichever feature you want to look for you can see. So we are looking for Active Directory domain services, and we're gonna look for ADDS and ADLDS tools. So you can scroll up, scroll down, and from the left side you can see, from the middle column you can see the name. Okay, and then you have to see that it is installed or not. Installed will tell you it is installed. Not installed means it is available. So we were looking for Active Directory domain services. So we have these Active Directory domain services actually installed on L1-SVR at this time, because we are looking for features on L1-SVR1. Again, I said if you're gonna type only Get-Windows feature, that's mean you are looking Windows feature on your own server where you are on. But if you give a remote host name, so you have to use minus computer name. So in this way, remote host name is L1-SVR1. So far we have 2 servers only as virtual servers on one physical L1-host. So host means physical, and our guest operating systems are L1-DC1, which is a domain controller, and L1-SVR1, which supposed to be a member server on this one. So here you can see you have Active Directory domain services installed. Just to review that one, look at these things, and you're gonna see on the middle column and you're gonna see on the right column. So what is available now? So you're gonna see some features which are not available. Once you promote your DC or Active Directory Domain Controller, those features will also be available. So currently just review a list, look at that, what you can do, what you cannot do, and whatever you see in the middle column, that is the feature you are looking for or you are going to install if you need to install in the future. So this is just a guideline. Take this guideline and you can install it. So here we are going to add a server, which is our only available server, L1 DC1. All servers show you only DC1 right now, but if you want to control remotely, you can add here. You can use all servers or you can use manage, where you can just search randomly what you have available. So find now, and you will see the environment what you can see here where we can communicate and talk with. But in this lab, we are using only two servers, L1-DC1 and L1-SVR1. We are going to add L1-SVR1 and it's supposed to be online. It should take about 10 seconds or 20 seconds. In progress, online. So we are good to go now. So now it is online. We are going to promote now L1-SVR1 as a domain controller. So once you select that server, that's when you are on that server. And on the flag on the top, next to the refresh screen, that is where you will see that your ADDS binaries are installed on this server, and now you are ready to promote this server. So this is called a notification. When you click on it, you will see that you have an option available, that this server name and the option, so you can promote this server as a domain controller. On the top right side, you can see the target server name. So that is the name of the server which you are working on remotely. If you see here a different name, and you may not see that this is a name which you are intending, so you simply can cancel the visit and go back and make sure that you are on the right server, because in test environment or in virtual environment, you may have a lot of servers, a list of a lot of servers. So you have to choose only the server what you are looking for. So we will choose add a domain controller to an existing domain. That is a default option which is selected. And here you can add credentials. So our root domain is a datum, and our root domain enterprise account is administrator. So we are using a datum administrator with a provided random password, which is a new password, capital PA55W.RD. This password was changed for labs only in Windows Server 2016 environment. Now you can click on next once you provide the credentials. This will take a while to browse around, and you see that your domain name system and global catalog options are checked. So we don't want to have these two options at this time. In real life, you want to do it. You want to share a global catalog, which is a search engine of Active Directory, and you want to share your name resolution, DNS. So you can fault tolerance with a DNS name as well, with a DNS installed on that server. We may do it later on. That should be installed, but for practice purposes, you might want to leave it alone as it is. Once this goes through, browse, and then you simply can uncheck them. And here, this is a directory services restore mode password. This password is not the one what we use to log in. Okay, this is the one when you back up your domain controller and you restore back using NTDS util. At that time, they will ask you to add this password. So this is called a directory services restore. You have only one domain, so you can leave it as alone. Any domain controller, it will pick up the one available. So keep in mind, we are not going to promote this domain in this GUI way. We are just showing you, because on the back end, we are copying all steps. The way somebody emails you that your American Express account is locked, has a problem, somebody is using your account fraudulently, please log in, and then username and password. Okay, I believe NTDS settings same. And then they ask you to do it. When you do everything on the back end, they record everything in a script, including your username and password. That's what we're doing right now. So if you click on view script now, same thing gonna happen. So whatever you just typed, or whichever options actually we selected, they're all recorded. So we are going to use now this script, but the thing is that it has to be on one single line. So I'm gonna use this guideline. So actually you can guys all use this guideline and take off all comments, all dots, and you're gonna use these all steps to promote L1 SVR1 as a domain controller. But you have to put this all in one line. So what you do here, import -module space ADDS deployment. After deployment, click on, hit delete button, then minus NoGlobalCatalog server :true will be in front of your ADDS domain controller. Same thing, then click after $true. This will be automatically a space. But before that, you're going to remove these all dots. So I would use replace command. So what you do here, you simply copy, you go to edit, and you use a replace method with a space. You can use the way you want to use. For me, whatever I feel comfortable. In this way, you don't have to click on everywhere and one by one and delete. So I just simply replaced it with a space which will not harm you. There will be an extra space when you actually make this all straight in one line like that. So I simply had to click after one line and hit delete, then second line hit delete. So extra or additional space doesn't make any difference. It will be fine. Okay. So I have one additional space because I replaced my dash or dot with a space. Still, it is a usable. You have to copy this all information here straight, because we are going to paste this information on a PowerShell. So think that this is a new way, or this is an advanced way to promote a DC. So we do have a root domain, and keep in mind a second domain, what we call them a domain controller, is a now backup domain controller. So you are going to use this script. And the way you did this script here, simply you actually recorded these all steps through GUI method from your L1 DC1. So I'm going to copy these one. There are several ways to copy this one. If you want to have a copy option from your steps which are given to you, you can use actually your paste option, and you can keep into the clipboard. But from the command line, you simply have to go to PowerShell, and all you do is right click on the PowerShell once you have a PowerShell open, and you can be able to paste actually. So you don't need this widget anymore. In case if you want to have this as a backup, you can, but you really don't need this widget. Because you actually did the job what you wanted to do. So here you can use a PowerShell. You simply can go to command line, type PowerShell. You can go to your Explorer, type PowerShell, hit enter, and simply, or you can go to tools menu, which is your administrative option, like an the way you go into your old versions admin tool. That's what you're going to do. Now here you are going to invoke a command for L1-SVR1. If you don't put Invoke-Command, so that's when you are going to try to install this on your own computer where you are on, because you are going to invoke this for who? L1-SVR1. So that's mean we are now in L1-SVR1. Once you invoke that one with this command, and in these two brackets, you have to go mouse one click back, like back arrow, and then simply right click. That's it. Right click will paste your command from Notepad, the one you already set up with one single line. So I'm going to right click. That's it. There's no paste, there's no enter, nothing. Simple. Right click, it will actually go straight in to those two or between those two brackets, and that's how the command is. Now if you want to verify, you simply verify this very closely, unless you do a mistake. Sometimes when we copy and paste, as I have noticed that, we see that there is a space between minus and the command. So there should not be actually any space after the minus. So now it seems like it worked appropriately and there is no error, there is no mistake. Now you can use a data administrator account with a password, capital PA55W.RD. In the past we were using capital $$W0RD. As you know that this was given in your 2012 operating system. Now we are in 2016 operating system. Now we enter the password appropriately, and now they're gonna ask you again, enter the password. Safe mode administrator password, and you don't see those options there, and it used to be like you type the password, you don't see any asterisks. That's good that you can see that how many digits you are typing. So again, the password is same, capital PA55W.RD, and you're gonna confirm that password for the safe mode. So here you can see steps. Again, you simply can pause the video and look at these steps. Now we are going to install ADDS binaries. Again, don't trust on my timings here at your end. You may spend more time than I am spending, but I also want you to see on the top what you are actually doing right now. So I am almost to the end of those installation bar steps, but again I am in between pausing and pause and go stuff a little bit, because you can see those options under this green writing here, what is basically being done on the background. So that is good to know and review the information. I assume that this MCSA 2016 could be basic for some students or some viewers and could be advanced, and that is good because we are doing advanced steps anyways. So now you can see, let me zoom in. So you can see now here SVR1 is a domain controller. On the other end, when you promote a domain, you know that domain starts rebooting automatically. So here we see that operation has been completed successfully. You always can simply read the information, but you see there are some warnings. You ignore them, but I would suggest that yes, you can just read these warnings. That will be a good idea. Now SVR1 is on the back end. As I told you, whenever you promote a domain controller, after the promotion, domain automatically restarts. So that is what happening with L1-SVR1. And keep in mind, this all operation was done remotely using a domain controller for a member server. So DC1 is running and SVR1 is running. They both are running, but this is DC1. This screen is DC1. So we used Invoke-Command for L1-SVR1. You have to get familiar with this information. Here, this is a notepad. If you want to keep it for a while, later on you might want to copy this and export it to your own environment, or you might want to do it on your physical computer. If you are using an Hyper-V physically at your own home environment, you are actually able to transport information between physical server and a virtual server. So at my home environment, yes, I do have this all information. I can always go between my physical and between my virtual computers, because I'm using a Hyper-V virtual hard drives directly from Microsoft. So this is I'm using for a convenience. It is an online because we have passwords already integrated and some other things, and conveniently we can click on any machine and whenever we want. It saves a lot of time. So this lab could be done in 1 hour, but if I do use my home Hyper-V version, so it could add 20 more minutes. So I want to get benefit of what I do have online. So now we are done. Reboot is done. So this is still showing that promote this server to a domain controller, because you have to refresh one more time and or couple of times, and this will be gone because that was a post installation of a DC which was done. So here this is a refresh button, so you can refresh your dashboard couple of times, and once or you simply close and open again. Sometimes it requires to close and open, or you have to wait. Now it is refreshing. You can see on the background this small blue or green bar. Actually now it seems like got refreshed. Yeah, now we are good. Clean dashboard. So we have now a root domain L1-DC1, and we have now a backup domain controller, and this all was done through PowerShell. And I'm sure that we have never done this before in any kind of a previous MCSA or MCSE classes, because they have never introduced promoting a domain through PowerShell, installing Active Directory binaries through the PowerShell. And I think that this is a good new improvement that at least they are showing it was possible, and we do that at job environment. We do use a lot of PowerShell, but in the lab, for you actually, and for everyone who is watching this video, this is a very good and nice to use some advanced features. So just look at best practice analyzer, and just start the best practice analyzer. You will see any kind of warnings or any kind of errors are available on whichever server you mention. And this is gonna scan actually. So DC1 is already selected because we are on DC1. You can select a list of servers from BPA. So you can select L1-SVR1 and you can start scan. This will take a while. Yes, I mean it is a part of the lab, and once it is done, you will see the result on the top. You see it. So you have checked both servers, and if there is any error or any warning, you can see that. For now, we're gonna ignore if there is any. It's just to let you know that there is nothing actually we found for L1-SVR1. So we got some warnings, one error for DC1, and just ignore that. This is about time synchronization from DC1 to SVR1. That is a later on job, so we don't care about that. But if you want to see any option here, any error, any warning, you click on it and you're going to see the detail actually. You see the problem, and then you will see more information link. you can go and click on that link. It will directly go online and give you solutions. If you have internet, it will go through. If you don't have internet, yeah, you can actually simply get the concept, and in your real life environment, yeah, you do have internet. Definitely, you can go and troubleshoot these things if you are responsible. If you are going to this far in your job environment, they will let you administer Active Directory, install Active Directory, watch backup domain controller. That means you are a system administrator, or you are a system engineer, or you are working in networking infrastructure. Definitely. So here you can see the scan time, and you also see the version of best practice analyzer, and you will see that if there was any error here, if it's available. So again, if I said that on your lab computers you may not have internet. Most of these Windows Server 2016 labs, they do have internet, because we use internet for some reasons, because we need actually for downloading a couple of things from internet. Anyway, so this was section 1 or part 1 done successfully, and you have seen a lot of things here. So you had a ADDS binaries, and you had a remote installation. You went through all of these steps. Now if you want, you can go back, browse Active Directory, look at your root domain, look at your backup domain. But let's move on to your second part. Now we're gonna see a clone process, and you're gonna copy source domain controller, perform a domain controller cloning. So that's when you are going to copy L1 DC1 virtual machine. We need to use Active Directory Administrative Center to add our DC1 to a group which will let your DC clone itself. So you will see it is a very nice process, or you could see a procedure. So we can use Active Directory Administrative Center. We have some advanced options available in Administrative Center. Most of the things which we cannot do actually on Active Directory domain, Active Directory ADDS, what do you call them? Users and computers. But you are able to do it actually under Administrative Center. So simply it is not a big deal to do that. Okay, so while you are doing this one, quickly you can pause my screen to now you don't have to. I wanted to give you the command which you used actually in the notepad to promote a domain with the PowerShell. So I will try to add under this video description, or separately I can provide you. You are seeing my email here. I'm looking for a clonable group actually. So you will basically add your server, whichever domain you want to clone actually. So this is a group in your Active Directory. You don't have to create that group. That group is available by default in every Active Directory. This is a clonable domain controllers. So whenever you add a server into that group, that's mean this DC will be clonable. So now once you have this DC clonable, you can clone it. So you can have a copy of this domain. So we're gonna use PowerShell a lot anyways. We have used it before. We're gonna use again. And you can actually, if you want to pin to the taskbar, you can. Here we're gonna use PowerShell command Get-Credential expanded application list to see a list. I will try to add these all commands first on screen if I can. Yeah, when I'm gonna give a final touch to my video, I will try to add a couple of commands just on screen if I'm not able to put under the description, but I will try to do it. So this is basically a command which gonna basically give you a list of those all services which you can clone with a cloning option. So you also can generate an XML format or XML file. So the same command, just gonna add generate XML, and you see the location where we have this XML. Here you are basically using this. Next command, just review and read the information. You can use stop dash computer command. This will basically shut down this computer. So you have done all necessary process. You went through those PowerShell commands. So what we used here, these get-ADDSDomainController commands. We used lastly we actually used an get-ADDSDomainController excluded application list. So you generated that list. Minus generate XML was the command. Then we went to we ran this command. So the next part was just to run dc-clone-config.xml file. So you use that one, new addc-clone-config file. Then you shut down the computer, and now we are back actually. And on the DC, you see here on the list of my host computer, you see a DC1 and SVR1 only. So we are going to export DC1. You can put a path here. So we're going to use it a program files Microsoft Learning 2742 2742b-L1 DC1, and you're gonna click select that folder. That's where you're gonna add it. So that's the folder. Okay, Microsoft Learning 2742, that's where we are adding. So D is an additional drive which we have. And when you export, on the right side, when you scroll right, you will see that the percentage of export. And you may or may not see fully which I run through here, 14-15%, but I'm gonna pause and continue with that one. So once it gets 100%, that's mean it is exported 100%. So it is done. I paused a little bit. So actually now we have exported. Now we need to import back virtual machine and rename. So that is the next step. So I'm restarting my L1 DC1. So this is the one what we already have, and this is the one we cloned actually. So this is my DC1. So you can see that L1 DC1 on L1 host 1. So this is the original machine which we have used for cloning. So you cloned this machine and you export it into your D drive. Just note these all steps. And keep in mind, you can double click on the virtual machine to have a full screen mode. And here you can see that where you are right now on DC1. And this is your physical server in case if you want to know that. And you are going back into that server. So we are back. You always can click on local server where you can see that which server you are on. So from host 1 actually you are going to import a virtual machine. So on host 1 you see 2 machines. You are going to import the third machine which you have exported, which is L1 DC1. So that is where you are right now. You're going to use import virtual machine, and then you're going to use your advanced wizard options. You can click on next. And now we have to go to D program files, Microsoft Learning 2742. And that is where you have 2742B-L1-DC1. That was the original machine name, which you're going to go and select that folder. So you saved on D, Microsoft Learning 2742. Yeah, click on 2742, and that is the exported machine. So you're going to select this folder. So because you are going to import back into the same Hyper-V. And now you are good to go. Now click on next. And you're gonna also choose a import type. So we are going to use a new unique ID. That should be, because we are copying existing virtual machine, and we need to use a copy option. That is next coming up. This is the option what we are using, a copy the virtual machine. Actually, the third option with a new unique ID. So we don't want to use any existing ID or unique ID. So we are going to copy separately with existing unique new ID. So we don't want to see any kind of conflict. And we're gonna actually use 2742 again under D drive, where we want to set this folder. I will leave these options as it is. You can actually select this store the virtual machine in different locations if you want to. Yes. And these are the destination locations where you can see if you don't want to change them. Or you can use browse button to change, but that is an optional. This is your customization. This is up to you, whichever way you want. And I will change to a specific location. So I will go whatever your lab says, and I said that you can go and customize them. So you simply can copy from one location and paste to the second location and add any modification you want to add. But simply I would say everything goes to Microsoft Learning and 2742. This is a consistent location or persistent location where you can leave it. So this is up to you where you want to, but here it is a straight location. I noticed that in the lab you are using only this straight location. Once you got this location, And again, if you want to customize, you can customize the way you want to. So we have these all Microsoft Learning folders available by default through the lab setup. But it is not necessary that you're gonna follow exactly what are they. If you do in your own environment, you can choose your choice. You can do whatever you wanna do, and you can select that one. And now we are done almost with this one. This is the location where you can see the VHD location or virtual hard disk location. But the thing is that once you finish, you got to go and rename your server and your cloned domain name under your Hyper-V. So here, yeah, make it consistent as the lab said. Deprogram file Microsoft Learning 2742. So I'm adding my email again in case if I forget to provide you all of the commands. So simply shoot me an email so I can send you those commands which we have used already, and there is a long command for the PowerShell to promote a domain. I'm going to put that anyways for you separately so you can have that. So just review the locations and click on finish. From your end, it may take few minutes. From my end, yes, I'm going to pause and come back when you are close to it. Not taking much time, actually, it's not that slow. I thought it's going to take a while, but yes, it's not taking much time. So you are going to do this at your end. And we're going to rename this domain, the new clone domain, maybe a unique name as suggested by your lab steps, L1 DC1 once this is done. So yeah, the third section is taking a little time. Okay, so we are done. So we see that our DC1 in the middle is in off state. So before we actually ran that widget, we turn on our existing DC. So now we can see that which one is off, which one is on, and you simply select the server to rename it, or you right click on the server, or you can use an action pane to rename the server. So whichever you feel comfortable. So I zoomed in a little bit just to have a better view, but simply you can rename this virtual machine. The only thing you can recognize that the state of virtual machine which is off is the one we just actually created, cloned. So this is a cloned virtual machine which you simply can highlight. You right click, use action pane, you simply can rename it. So the name, you can here click on the bottom right side, you are able to see a rename option. You can do that one. I simply go and right click and rename as well, where you can revert it, you can clone it. I mean, you can revert or you can set up other options, not the clone. Clone was a long process, but simply now you can see that how this part can be done. So now we have a 2742B-L1-DC3 with a unique ID. So it was a very straightforward process to clone a domain. And now you can actually right click and start. So as you know that we have this unique ID. So and it was just a part of your first domain, which is the L1-DC1. So this is a kind of a confirmation. Okay, you see the percentage here going up and down. So you, yeah, you might not see it was too quick or too slow, but it will tell you that percentage on the middle here, CPU usage, is running state, and how many percentage was off or on. So now we have actually confirmed that our domain controller cloning part has been completed. Now we can do administration part or administering ADDS, but here you can see the percentage now on that DC. I paused a little bit because it was taking time. We are back. On the top left side you can see that this is a DC here, DC3. So now actually you have successfully completed this part as well. So keep in mind, you always can go back, rewind your video and try to what you call them, create your own virtual environment. If you don't have the environment, just shoot me an email. I will send you some links where you can actually go and run virtual environment and download the virtual environment stuff and ISOs and do at your own. So currently instead of 2 we have now 3 virtual machines. So the next part we're gonna do the scenario what we have here. Your IT team at a Datum Corporation is evaluating the tools that are available in Windows Server 2016 for ADDS administration. So you should evaluate the use of both Active Directory Administrative Center and Windows PowerShell for ADDS administration and management. So that is the part we're doing through the Active Directory Administrative Center, where you can do a lot of good management. So a couple of things you're gonna go and use it here. By default you should see a tree view, and few things we do here. Reset a password, very simple. So we always know this one, how to reset a password on a client computer. Here you are using Active Directory Administrative Center to reset a password. So here you have an option available under Overview. In the middle of the screen here, you have an option available for password reset. So you have to know that which user you are going to reset a password. So a lot of things are handy. So they just want to show you how to administer these things from this part. So you simply can click on any icon or any snap-in or any colorful option here on the back end, that what you can do. So you have a lot of knowledge in this screen or a lot of knowledgeable things, but simple part is this here, that they are going to just simply tell you how to administer as a junior or senior network administrator, how to administer Active Directory, because for some of you a lot of steps are or few steps are new, but for new administrators, yes, this whole video actually or this whole lab is very useful. So here you can put anybody's name, a Datum admin. If there is an account, actually you can reset a password. If there is no account, for example, if I put wrong username, which basically I'm just trying to show you, and if there's no account, you will see that there's no option to apply it. Here, see that? So you have to be careful that which user you are going to reset a password. If user is not there, apply option is not available. So I'm going to change this from admin to a user which actually exists, which actually is an ADAM, Adam. So Adam is there. If I go and create my account, like my last name, first initial EMEER, I can use that account. If that account exists, you can change the password. If that account is not available, you cannot change the password. So simply you type the password manually, type reconfirm, confirm the password, it has to match, and then you have to have a right user account which you are looking for. So again, if someone calls you, please reset my password, you're going to ask them ID. So that is your job. And here, maybe Adam is on the phone. Adam is on the phone and you did not type correct name of his user account, because you need to type here ID, which is under user accounts property, and from property you're gonna go an account tab. So whatever is under account, that is what you're gonna type here. So I went into the backend, into the Active Directory. I see that user account name under account tab. So that is the one you're gonna put here. So this account exists. Adam is the account. As soon you click on the password and reconfirm the password, you have an apply option. So that is what is a good lesson for everyone as well, that you can simply type a password which is for the user who is available in your domain, and you are able to reset the password. So there is a password policy. By default, you just simply cannot type a simple password, or you cannot leave a blank password. So we have to follow the domain policy. Minimum 6 to 8 characters, complex. So search is also very handy. Simply you go to the search, type whatever you want to type. I typed only first few letters of my server's name or client name, or whatever name you have in your Active Directory. You simply search. So LON contains these many records. You simply can go and look at it. And from the computers containers, you will see the all computers which are your domain members. So I have here CL1, CL2, SVR2 are my domain members, and DC1 as well is a domain member at this time, TOR DC1. So if it is a domain, the name says DC1, so that's supposed to be under domain controllers OU, not under my computers OU. So here we have these all members at this time. In the later lab, we are going to change that DC1 to a domain controller for a multi-domain environment. So you want to add a computer, you simply can add it here manually. But by default, whenever you join a domain controller as a member, like from a work group, your computer account automatically shows up under computers. Here I am going to create this host name or computer name manually. So L1-CL4 is a new computer. I added manually, and you can go and look at the properties of this computer. You can edit. You can do couple of customizations. So just to show you that here, how can you administer Active Directory from Active Directory if you have at least domain admin rights, how you can do that. So we are going to see that now you have another computer, L1-CL4. So review all options. So from the extensions section, you're gonna see the attribute editor tab. On the left side, you have all other options here available. So where you can click each option and you look at what options are available there. In your Active Directory, you also can go and view, make available advanced option where you can see the extensions, and you can see basically your attribute editor tab. So that's where you can see the info, more information about your computer. So this is the attribute editor tab right here. This can be achieved also through your Active Directory users and computers, but the only way you can see security tab, object tabs, or attribute editors or attribute editor tab only through your view and advanced features available. In administrative center, you can see these options simply by browsing your environment. So here you can see even when this account was created, you're going to scroll down all the way, and at the end you're going to see that the date of creation is July 18, 2017, and you will see the time. You also can see a lot of more attributes which is not actually required in this lab and in this environment to show you now. But yes, you will see in later on labs very advanced type of work. Simply you can see these are attributes of your objects. Even you can see under a user accounts properties and attribute tab where you can see a lot of options about the user, even last log on, even how many times a user logged into this computer, to this domain. So now the next step will be about some PowerShell stuff. So you're just going to expand the PowerShell history. So let's keep moving on. So here on the bottom, you see the PowerShell history. So, so far actually the steps were done completely. I will say that I enjoyed with this recording, and I hope you would like this video. I'll see you again in my next video, and you're gonna see all of MCSA related videos available with audio eventually, and I'm gonna post them all. I'm gonna provide you in person. Thank you so much, and I will see you in my next video. So you can email me. My email is in this video. Thank you.